Well, I guess we're recording already, so we better say something about it. We're talking about Heim Palm, California. Worked up there with my brother Bob, and I was loading logs for, oh boy, blank on that one. But with big Doug fir country, huge Doug fir. A lot of times the logs were so big, we'd have big decks and we couldn't put them on the trucks because it was all too wide. There was no little logs to go with them. So, and was doing yarder logging, and then I'd load out all the logs that the yarder put up and deck a few, and then run over where we had a little cat side working and do that, and then back and forth. Pretty busy thing. And one of the interesting things on there was one of the interesting things was one of these places that we found and preserved, and just above Larrabee Valley. And we was logging away there, and then all of a sudden down there where we was we was going down 1,000 foot or better for our logs. So we see these three big bullet-shaped rocks down there, and they look just exactly like bullets. There's three of them, identical shape, together. I could set them on a table and they'd be together there, except one just had enough of a gap between it and the other one that it was a doorway. You could go in there. Well, it was just hollow in there. I'm sure a bear or two lived in there over the years, but anyway, they were quite interesting, being about 50 foot high, and one of them had a tree going right out of the top. No dirt whatsoever, just found a way to get it to hold in that little crack and the way it was growing. So anyway, we logged around that and preserved that, and hopefully it's still there today. And but one of the stories, quite a few funny stories we logged in that country, and one of them there is we had a little guy working on the yarder named Jimmy McDonald, and I had a hard time remembering his name because we call him Yosemite Sam. He's a little bitty redheaded guy, and he got to work, and come up there was an ex-cop that rumor was he got run out of town because he was being abusive to the young people and being a genuine ass. So they fired him, and he tried buffaloing little Jimmy McDonald around the hill. He threatened to kick his butt, and I think Jimmy said, okay. Well, that didn't work out good at all because little Jimmy McDonald crawled all over him. Put an end to that nonsense. So that was Heim Palm. Little things happened up there. Like my brother bought a cow from the same gentleman as being a genuine ass. And was a Hereford. And what it made it different, it looked like somebody took mud and threw it right in its face and the little white blaze. Real distinct cow. So Bob got his receipt from that, and he kept paying his pasture rent. He's going to pay the pasture rent and feed that cow till stop. Until he ready to butcher it. So we went all summer working and goofing off, and moved down to Redding, and we go get the cow, and he said, "Oh, it's gone." So, what? Well, this guy has a little ranch deal there, and he's feeding some Angus cows, which are worth way more than Hereford, So he said, "No, your cow run off," and Bob says, "Well, you've been accepting rent and pay for feeding it and having it on your place here." He goes, "Well, I can't help that. It's gone." You go, "Okay, well, one thing we always had in our car was a 30-30 rifle." plus pistols. And so we said, we're going to go down to the pasture and we're going to shoot us a cow. And Bob described the cow he bought, and the guy knew it, and he said, oh, that's my daughter's pet. Well, in the meantime, the guy's daughter fell in love with this cow, and now it's her pet. So he said, we'll just go shoot a brown cow, or not a brown cow, we'll just go shoot a cow. And so I told Bob, let's go get one of the Mangus. Those are good-looking cows. Oh, man, a guy like had a fit because those weren't his cows. They were just renting pasture from him. So we go down there and stop and lay the rifle across the hood and get one of the Mangus cows. There was a lot more money, right? And right in the old deed, you know. Although we wasn't really going to shoot it, it was a bluff, and it worked. Here that guy come, okay, you can have his cow. So all of a sudden, Mysterious found the lost cow in there. So now they decide to cowboy it, so they ran it and ran it and ran it and went and got horses, for one cow. And just before that, it was over at the fence with scratching its nose, and now it's so scared of everything, it's just all, and you're not supposed to kill them hot when they're full of adrenaline, and so pretty well messed up that cow deal. After nobody could eat the beef or anything, it was just something haywire with it, and so now that was just a side shot on our dinner kind of lifestyle that was up there, but I got to tell you about old Blacky the Crow. Now, if anybody been around a crow, I guarantee his name will be Blacky. It's the way it works. So, at noontime, we'd be way out, and we'd often have animals come up and be our friends. One thing that makes them our friends is we'd be eating lunch, and they'd come up there just staring at you, you'd toss them a piece of bread or something, and all of a sudden that's a daily thing. Well, that was with Blacky the Crow. So, we haven't even had deer that would do that. We had one little doe, and she had 2 babies. And she'd come up and we'd throw a piece of sandwich at her. So every day she'd come get her piece of sandwich. And there was a pine tree there that she hid her babies behind. Had to be about as big around as your finger, but it was taller when the babies. Well, she had put them behind that and think they was it. It wasn't it at all, but she lasted all through our setting at that job. Man, we'd moved down the road a mile or so. And, but there, old Blacky now. We would take a log, and I run the loader, so I'd get about a 3.5, 4 foot log and set it to landing, and they were long, 40 foot. And so crew would set out on that log and eat their lunch, you know. And so Blacky got to coming down there, and we'd toss food to him. So he thought that was pretty good, and he thought, well, maybe I should have to pay for my food. So he decided to perform for us. So he'd fly down, stand on that log. There'd be guys on each end, and then there's 10 foot or so in the middle where he could perform. You couldn't touch him. He didn't allow that, but he'd stand there on that log and look at you, and then he'd just stick his wings straight out, showing off. Just move the wing tips the tips of his wings a little bit. Pretty soon he'd lift one foot, then the other. And then he'd wiggle them wing feathers and never flap a wing, and they'd go sideways down the road, just moving them feathers like that, or the log, and then back up to us, and then back to the other guys, and then just perform, you know, raise up, go down. He was just riding a wind current there, but he wasn't moving much to show off there, and so we had him all summer, and every day he'd come, and I guess that would be midsummer to fall. So we go all fall there, and every day he'd come and eat and perform, and he was really, really our friend. And we moved a few miles, he'd move with us. So he stayed with us, and then in winter there, he stayed all winter. We logged all winter there on the yarder, and then all of a sudden, springtime come, and no Blacky for a couple of days. We're going, well, nothing happened to Blacky. Well, here he come. So he come down real over the log, but he wouldn't land. He would just, I just swear, he was just saying goodbye to us because we look up there and got his girlfriend with him. And I'm sure he just come by and showed us his girlfriend and waved goodbye because he never would land or perform. Didn't want nothing to eat. Just brought his girlfriend by for us to look at and and then go on and do what do. Then finally, after he got done showing what he was showing, he just flew off. And that was the last time we seen old Blacky. He'd probably telling the stories to his grandkids just like I am mine. So that's where that one went. But some of our experience in the animal world in Heimbom. So that was the bridge there. There's a footbridge between Heimbom and Hayfork, about 25 miles up the river. Trinity was that walk bridge they made the Ham's beer on, where the bear walked out on that bridge, and it's interesting things in that country like that, and very historic. The house we lived in was an old stage stop. Literally, was the stage stop. And they turned it into a house and all, and I'm sure there's things I'm leaving out, but that was Jack Beebe. Jack Beebe's Mill. That's who we worked for. Lost his name in my mind there a little bit ago, but I'll come back. So anyway, that's just part of the stories. I don't know if I'll add later, but for now.